Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to my show, JHC Friends. For those of you who are not familiar, I actually have multiple series, and I'm really excited to have on my friends, influencers, leaders, local business owners in Tallahassee. And Mafe, thank you so much for joining us. Before we dive in, I wanted to give a quick intro of Mafe Brooks. She is currently Assistant Dean of Development at the College of Communication and Information at FSU. Mafe's educational background is in linguistics, education, and teaching English as a second language. She is passionate about giving back to the community and has served on the board of the Character and Heritage Institute, the Big Bend Filipino American Association, the Asian Coalition of Tallahassee, Literacy Volunteers of Leon County, and the March of Dimes. She loves to travel, paint with acrylics, and she's cooking. She loves to cook with friends. She has me over all the time on special occasions, and she loves to walk her two dogs to stay fit. So, and she recently launched a business. So, we're going to talk about a lot today. Thank you so much, Mafe.
Well, thank you for having me today, Julia. I am really honored and it's a privilege, especially, you know, it's your 50th show. So I
Yes,
think, oh my
thank
God,
you.
it's a milestone. So thank you for having me on this milestone of your program. I really, really appreciate it. Thanks for this wonderful
Aw,
opportunity to
you're
chat.
so sweet. It's an honor to have you on. I mean, I really appreciate. I know you're busy. You travel all the time. I love how you have photos from all over the world of you visiting your contacts, connections. You have a huge global network. You're also part of the SIE collab. I didn't even mention that part. And just you do so much for the community. And I really appreciate you and taking the time to be on my humble show.
No, it's really a privilege. I think, connecting with different constituents and also being engaged in the community is something that I really do care about. And I think this is has been built in my genes genetically because I come from a family of educators, in the Philippines. My grandfather's established schools. So even as a child, whenever I do something with my parents, it's in an environment of an education system. So I grew up literally on the campus of my grandfather's schools. So I think wherever I am now in my career, education is front and center. So as you mentioned earlier, I um, I have a background in linguistics education and teaching English as a second language, and that's actually how my career started was teaching English as a second language in a Vietnamese refugee camp in the Philippines. So that was after college, and that was such a life-changing experience for me. And I've always had an innate, love for culture, for world cultures. And so I think that's always been the path I followed wherever I went. And I don't know, it's just been in my genes in terms of being curious, of learning more about not just my world, but also other cultures. And that has always been something that I've taken the path in my career, whether it was intentional or coincidental. But I think inherently, I've always looked for the opportunities where I can engage with the world. And as you mentioned, my heritage is Filipino. So that's a big piece of my life and the work that I do in terms of how I represent, my 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 work and my career, and not only that, but also in terms of I engage with a community and the Asian Coalition. Again, that's I was a founding member of the Asian Coalition of Tallahassee, and the SIE collab goes more into the entrepreneurship side, but I was also a founding member. So it's really exciting to be in this community where you can engage, in different ways globally. And I think Tallahassee has really opened the doors to global citizenship. So it's so exciting for me to be in this environment right now. I talk a lot. Sorry.
No, I love it. That's how it's supposed to be. I don't want to be doing all the talking. That makes you an awesome guest. So yeah, I love how it all ties in too. And you had spent time in California, right? Didn't you go to UC Riverside, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes, that's where I did my English as a second language. I participated in a certificate program in teaching English as a second language, and I also worked for the International Education Programs Office. So I was a student. I worked as a student in the International Education Programs Office, and as you can see, there is a common thread, right, in terms of where my path, which path I've followed, and so from Southern California to Florida State. What brought me here was my mom's sister. My mom's sister lives in Tallahassee, or she lived in Tallahassee until she passed away 5 years ago. And so this is where our family is. And I started my time at Florida State University as a student, and then met my husband at Florida State, and the rest is history. And then again, that trajectory in terms of my engagement, the first place I looked for when I came to Florida State was the International Student Center. Because obviously I have like this one track path because I try to be, deliberate, not deliberate, what's the word? But I try to be focused, in terms of where my passion lies, because I think that's really important. For me, I have to love what I do and do what I love. So I keep on going in that direction, in that focused direction. And obviously, education is a big piece of that. So I'm here now at Florida State University doing my work in development, which was sort of, I just fell right into it. I was not looking for it as a career, but because of the outreach, that I did when I worked at the International Student Center, I had the opportunity to meet a mentor who was helping us at that time develop ways to engage the community, and also to look for philanthropic support so we can provide more outreach opportunities for the international students who are here at Florida State University, right? So you're going to be laughing about this, because that mentor in development, her name is Martha Stewart. Hi, Martha. Hi, Tallahassee Martha. Hi, Tallahassee Martha. But she was the director of development at the FSU College of Education, and she talked about her job and how she engages with our alumni and discover their philanthropic interests so that they can provide scholarships and support for faculty and programs here at Florida State. So I was intrigued by that. I'm like, oh, okay, so tell me more. And that's how I got into this path of, raising philanthropic support for the university. So Martha Stewart.
That's so funny. I love it. And it's not the easiest thing to do, to ask people for money.
Well, yeah, I think it's really, that's one of the things that I think is very important for me, because it's really about building the relationships and identifying and recognizing, people who have philanthropy, in their bones. And it's how you go through that process and determine, what their passions are and where they're interested in giving back, paying it forward. And so I think that whole process is the most exciting for me, because the work that I do and the people that I meet, they're incredible, because, they're part of this process where they want to be able to make an impact, right? Not just in the life of a student by providing scholarships, but also in the life of, the families that they belong to, and then eventually, the communities that they serve, right? So they start locally, and then statewide, and then globally is when they have an impact. And I think, having this culture of philanthropy in the United States, it's really critical in terms of how we impact, our community. So I'm really excited to be part of this team where I can go out in the community and talk to our passionate alumni and other stakeholders who really want to make an impact by providing educational opportunities for our students. And so I'm really, really excited to continue to be part of this career path. And believe it or not, I have been doing this job for 17 years. It's
Yeah.
really exciting, and working for Florida State University, it's really an opportunity that has given me all these avenues on how I can continue to help people, find their philanthropic passions. So
I love that. Yeah, I mean, it's here in our next slide here about how you are the first lead fundraiser for major gifts for international programs and global initiatives at FSU, and you've had a lot of success in relationship building, which what you were referring to. You helped raise over $20 million for the college and FSU, and it's tremendous. And in the beginning, did it come naturally for you, or did you feel like you had to go through a mindset exercise? Like I just, where I'm speaking from, being Filipino, being a little more timid and, asking for things. There's something about that with imposter syndrome that's prevalent in our community. So how did you deal with that?
well, obviously, I think a big part of you talk about skill sets, and you talk about things that you need to learn, or things that are inherent in you as your skills, right? So obviously, a big part of how you engage in philanthropy, a big part of what I do is really listen, right? Listen to what people have to say, and listen to what they're interested in. It's not really me talking about myself, or the initiatives that we have, but really engaging in a conversation, with people, to really look at what they're interested in, and why they're interested in giving back. And once you've identified that, and once you've built that rapport and that relationship with your donor, then everything really comes, as naturally as possible. But don't get me wrong, obviously there are a lot of skill sets that you have to learn, because as you mentioned, my area is in major gifts, right? So there's all these different nuances in terms of how we work in the development world. There's my colleagues. I have colleagues who are in annual giving. So these are the gifts that people give annually. And how major gifts is defined at Florida State is, when we talk about the amounts of support that people give, my focus is mainly on finding opportunities at the $50,000 level and above. So as you can imagine, that's not a quick ask, right? It really takes time to be able to develop that conversation with a donor, so that you can um, really hone in on what they would like to do, what they would like to accomplish, with their philanthropic support. So it's not just me, it's a community of partners. The work that I do is part of a team. My colleagues, the faculty members, are a key part of the work that I do, because they're the ones who really make the students in their life successfully, academically successful. So our staff, from the get-go, when even when students are applying, and students have a great experience, from asking for information about FSU, that's the first step in terms of how you engage a future donor. So for me, I'm part of that cog. I'm part of that wheel. I'm a cog within that team that eventually, if an alumni has a wonderful experience as a student, then definitely that's something that will make an impact in their future life. And once they're in their careers, they'll always think of FSU as well. FSU really shaped my experience, my career, and so how can I give back to Florida State University? And don't get me wrong. I mean, obviously, I my focus is major gifts and identifying philanthropic support, but people also can engage with us in terms of their time, right, and their talent, because alumni can come to campus to speak in classes. They can provide opportunities, internship opportunities for our students. And so I talk about these 3 T's: the time, the talent, and the treasure. So everything is connected.
Oh, that's awesome. So then it obviously benefits students and the college. So it does create opportunities, like in a practical sense. There's scholarships too, so it goes towards programs that are related to scholarships. And then and more specifically, does it go, like, you're within the College of Communication and Information, right? So I'll go ahead and just share it. You have that, and then also international programs. Can you kind of explain a little bit more about those different programs?
Correct. So, I mean, with the College of Communication and Information, we have about 28,000, 29, maybe going on 30,000 alumni, right? So
Wow.
obviously we have academic programs. We have 3 schools: the School of Communication, the School of Communication Science Disorders, and the School of Information. So there is a lot of, collaboration amongst the 3 schools. And when you're the College of Communication and Information, it's blends those 2 major aspects of your life and your career. You communicate and information. And we were actually merged as a college in 2009. We were 2 separate colleges before. It was the College of Communication and the College of Information. So in 2009, the 2 colleges merged, which now we are now the College of Communication and Information. So it's really a robust college in terms of its program offerings. We do a lot also of outreach in the community. We have a lot of programs that engage our students with our community, not just in Tallahassee, but also across Florida and across, the country. And we have award-winning programs. The advertising team, they've won. It's a competitive advertising program where our students in advertising develop campaigns for different companies. And we also have a debate program that's been around for over 100 years. It's a competitive, debate program. And so it's really exciting in terms of the work that we do. And then we have the School of Communication Science Disorders, which houses a clinic, that helps our community in terms of audiology screenings, and also other programs that support language learning in children, and also doing therapy for traumatic brain injury patients. So we are a clinic at FSU where we serve the community. And then in the School of Information, that was a traditional school of library. So there is a lot of research that's going on that really impacts, the work that we do in the community. And I'm still learning a lot about my college, even if I've been around for quite some time. And then last year, again, if you look at my career trajectory, I found my way back to where my heart is, right? International programs, because, study abroad is a big part of Florida State University. And I'm proud to say that, we're actually in the top in terms of public universities of offering, study abroad experiences for our students. And, it's life changing, right? Because when you get immersed in a culture, you not only learn things academically, but you also learn about yourself. You learn about the culture, and you learn about, individuals, and a lot of different things from the social cultural aspect, right? So the immersive experience that our students have in study abroad is very significant.
Yeah.
And so we have three study abroad centers, major study abroad centers, one in Florence, which is our oldest program. It was established in 1966. And then we have the London Study Center, and then the Valencia Study Center. And also we have Panama, the Republic of Panama. We have, that's part of our group. But we do offer um, classes in multiple locations abroad. So at some point, there were over uh, 60 plus or more locations where we offered study abroad programs, and we do partner with different organizations also in different parts of the world. So
Wow.
it's exciting, and we send about 1,600 students annually abroad. So it's a wonderful experience, and I really believe, in the importance of, our students to have this, um, motivation to look into other ways that they can expand their world, literally.
Yeah. No, it's wonderful. So then you also help with fundraising for the international programs.
Correct.
You must be busy. I mean,
Well,
and then to top it off, you also recently launched, which I'll share, your shop. It's now called Welwyn, right?
Welwyn
Woodworking.
Woodworking, yes.
I love that.
Well, it's there's never a dull moment, and I think being Gemini, I have I have all these, irons in the fire. But this was actually inspired by my husband's hobby.
Yeah.
So he's really he's really great in terms of creating all this wood crafts and all these designs. And then I think one day this light bulb just like boop, you know, maybe this is something that, we can sort of, dip our toes into
This one's cute.
and see where it goes, right? Because at some point, and I have to tell this story because I think I'm also an entrepreneur at heart. Because
Yeah.
when I was a kid growing up, I would sell stuff to my friends. I'm now looking back. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I might have an entrepreneurial bone in my
Yeah.
body, and it's not now just translating as an adult, in terms of how we can share the talents and the skills that we have, and provide some opportunities for people to think about ways that they can personalize gift items, right?
Mhm.
So blending my husband's skills in woodworking and then my interest in really reaching out to the community and finding ways for them to help them, find this authentic and really personalized gifts. I know there's a lot of companies that have the same products or the same business that we do, but I think with our products, it's really very much client driven. So we
Mhm.
work one on one with our clients to determine, well, how would you like to make this more special for the person that you're giving this to? So we just started this year. So we're still very young in terms of, the work that we're doing. And right now I'm learning how to market and
Yeah.
how to do focus groups and how to really learn the skill sets I need to be a successful entrepreneur. And I'm learning so much. In fact, we have two partners. Obviously my husband, and there's another partner. So there's three of us in the company. We had the opportunity through your recommendation, Julia, to be part of, DOMI, the innovation scholarships that they provided. And so for 6 months, we participated in this entrepreneurship boot camp. And I did learn a lot, but I also had the opportunity to connect with local entrepreneurs in the community. And I think that was really the biggest takeaway from that boot camp, is really meeting these entrepreneurs in the community in all different, businesses, and having that connection is valuable. I'm always wanting to learn from the other people's experiences, right? So we're excited that we're now in this space, and we continue to learn in terms of how we can share, the love that we have for woodworking with our community. And so far, our friends have been very supportive, and Etsy is our vehicle right now to promote our crafts, our wood crafts. And we're still working on our website. Obviously, it's a work in progress. So any tips from other entrepreneurs and support from other, like-minded individuals, we always welcome that, because I believe that, learning is a big piece of life, and I'm always open to learning new things. So
Yeah, and I think with your passion and drive and just your ability to just keep going and not give up is really like deep down the rooted cause for success. Like I think with your support and you both working together, like having the same goal to make it work is definitely going, baby steps, baby steps. And then obviously, like what you're doing now, you're connecting with the local entrepreneurs. Like that's one of the best things to do, is to connect with other like-minded individuals. And the fun part of being an entrepreneur is the learning aspect, and you love to learn. So like, I really think with your strong skill sets of building relationships, you've already have a great network to begin with. So, I would like to say as a recommendation, some people get hung up on their website, but I think just continue to do things that you're strong with especially with email newsletters or a email list, and just kind of remind people that this is what you're doing and you love to do something customized for them, getting ready for the holidays, start contacting people. So like, just start making a list of all your contacts, and then eventually, the website.
yeah,
See, it's great. You have a great shop. That pretty much solves the website problem. Of course.
well, thank you. No, the website is a lot of work, and I really appreciate that invaluable information, because sometimes I think, we get into this, all we have to do it all, right? We have to do it all right now. And I think that's something that sometimes, I have to push back a little bit, because I'm always like, do this, do that. You can do everything. You can multitask. You're you're superwoman, but I'm not. And obviously I have, other, my business partners. So that's also very important, that we all work as a team. And, they're the production people, right? They create the designs and they produce the designs, and I'm here to support them in terms of how, we can engage the community. So it's exciting, but it's also terrifying. You have your own business, Julia, right? So I really, the learning from you and learning from others is something that really is invaluable to me, because like you said, baby steps. Steps. We'll see where this goes, but I hope it goes somewhere. Somewhere great.
It's going to take time. I mean, even like people will look back 5 years after starting, or even right now, I'm at my 11th year and I still look back, and, the percentage kind of, you see the rank, or excuse me, the stats about like, oh, eventually businesses close at their 10-year mark. So it's just like, it's definitely been a roller coaster. I haven't reached the level of success that I, quote unquote think, but my whole goal was really to be able to still accommodate family and do this at the same time. But I love how you are aligning all your passion and everything that you care about. And like you said, what you love to do. And so I think you guys are going to do well. Just keep honing on your skills. And then your husband, like, sounds like I'd love to know. So, like, you guys have a customized approach. Do you guys suggest the design, or do you just someone send you a photo of like, hey, I would love to do something like this, and then you guys kind of replicate the
Yeah,
solution?
we have some set designs, obviously, right? So we have these products that really are what we usually try to discuss with the clients, right? But then it's really driven by what the client wants, and then we come to an agreement, right? Oh, we can do this, we can go this direction, we can provide all this stuff, and then it's really a collaboration between the client and obviously us and the artist. Because we can't do it all. And that's also the other thing too, is one thing that we learned is, like I said, there are a lot of other companies who do the same thing, the same work that we do. So we try to really find our own niche, because we can't serve everybody, right? We can't serve everybody. So it's really a collaboration between the client and us, and then we make suggestions, on what's best, because the technology that we use, it's great. It's this, what we call the CNC machine, that really helps us create this wood carvings. And one thing that I really am proud of our company is we source out our materials locally, because that's also one of our goals, is to work with local businesses as we develop our designs. And the wood, we actually source it out from a local business in Bluntstown.
Oh,
Yes.
I love
So
that.
that's a big piece, because that's also, again, along the lines of giving back to your community. I think it's really important, because we could go to the big box stores, to source our wood, but it's not the same, right? And so we really want to go for quality, and we also want to go where we can show that we are supporting our community, because local businesses need a lot of support. And so if we as entrepreneurs, support each other, I think we can be a lot more successful in terms of what we do in our community.
And you're strengthening the local economy. I love that. Put that in big bold writing on your stuff, like locally sourced.
That's, that's,
Oh,
that's a great idea. So
yeah.
yeah, it's one of those goals that we have, that we, from the very uh, first day that we thought about, you know, developing this company, we were looking at all these different opportunities where we can connect to local businesses. And so, yes.
This is awesome. We need to have a part 2 with Filipinos Fridays.
Okay.
You
Thank
know,
you. During my lunch hour or
Yeah.
after 5. No.
No, we can. But yeah, no, I mean that obviously want to respect your time, and it's during a lunch break. Thanks for squeezing me in, and
No,
so
no.
glad it went
I'm not squeezing you in, Julia. This is really part of, our collaboration. And I think, one of the things too that I learned in my experience is, we can, there are so many distractions, right, in our lives. So we really have to carve out the time for things that are important to us, right? Because we can, and now with technology and social media, that's a lot more distraction than ever
It's true.
before, right? So if, for me, personally, I try to make sure that I carve out the time for things that are near and dear to my heart. So
Aww.
I did squeeze you in because this is important.
And really, it means a lot to me. Like, I remember when I first moved out here, and I didn't even mention this earlier, but you were one of the first Filipinos I've ever met in Tallahassee. Like, another friendly face that I was like, oh, she looks Filipino, and I can't, they always have to try to get, like, people can't tell I'm Filipino. So,
No,
but
no.
it might have been through either you introduced me to Eve, and shout out to Eve, shout out to CCI. I'm a big fan of the College of Communication and Information. Eve's another one. Both of you do so much for students and local businesses here. And so, thank you for treating me so well and being so kind, inviting me to your gatherings, and just, I mean, being a mom of multiple kids, I just don't have time to socialize anymore. So, like, I really love the fact that you take the time to still invite. Like, it really means a lot to me, and I really appreciate you. So, for those of you who want to reach and connect with Mafe, I just want to make sure that people know your information. She's so approachable, obviously, and would love to continue this conversation again. Did you want to conclude with anything in particular? Highlight anything?
Yes. Well, I actually wanted to share that obviously, if you want to experience Asia in September, I want to plug it in because I think it's really great for the community. The annual Asian Festival is happening on September 28th.
Oh, awesome.
Yes.
I'm not seeing any dates anywhere. I'm glad you told me.
At Tom Brown Park, and our college will have a booth there. Also, our business will have a booth, and obviously there's going to be food and cultural performances. So I hope you all come. It's a free event, and it's your time. If you haven't been, it's your opportunity to experience Asia.
I love it. Yes, I heard there was a huge turnout last time, so it keeps growing. So
yeah. So again,
before they run out.
I no longer serve on any boards right now because of my work, but whenever I can participate or help promote, I will always do that. It's part of who I am.
Yes, I can't wait for that. Thanks for sharing, and thanks again, Mafe. I'm gonna see you on the other side. Okay.
Thank you, Julia. Have a great Tuesday.
Bye, guys.